Athletes, what's one simple routine you could do daily to help you sprint faster and build the foundation for explosiveness? Well, in this video, I'll show you a 15-minute routine that takes 0 weights, how many times you should do it per week, and the exact reps and sets for each exercise. And to prove this works, I use this exact routine with these athletes in phase 1 of the Speed Academy. It helped them recover from the pain they got from sprinting and lifting and improve their sprint times to run stuff like this, and like this. This type of routine will either help you get primed for a high quality sprint session or fix some of the minor mechanical issues you have in your explosive sprinting and jumping. Exercise 1 and 2, adductor and abductor isometric holds. For the adductor isometric hold, step 1, you're gonna find a chair, bench, or box and rest your leg on it about 90-degree bend. Step 2, squeeze your groin and slowly lift your hips off the ground, using your arm for balance. Step 3, hold this position for 30 seconds on each side. You can even go all the way up to 45 seconds or add load after you get better at this exercise. For the abductor holds, this can be the lateral side of your glute. Step 1, lay on your side with the glute you're using on the ground. Step 2, get into more of a fetal 90-degree position, and it should look like multiple L's at the hips and the knees. Step 3, push the glute to lift your hips off the ground. Step 4, lift your top leg slightly into the air. Step 5, hold for 30 to 45 seconds and add load over time. These isometric holds reduce the risk of groin strains and improve something called hip external and internal rotation, which, as we know, hip internal rotation is critical for improving force production in acceleration, change of direction, and even thigh angular velocity. Exercise 3, hip internal and external rotation series. So step 1, attach a band to a stable surface at knee height, or you can do it without a band as a groove set. Step 2, walk away from the anchor. Step 3, drop into a low athletic stance like a defender in basketball. Step 4, perform a lateral lunge into the band. Step 5, rotate and explode into the opposite direction while turning your feet towards the direction that you're stepping to. Step 6, absorb the force quickly back into the other leg. And step 7, repeat this for reps and sets. You can also do this. This is a banded hip distracted internal external rotation exercise. You're gonna put a band around your top leg. You can also do this without a band and do the same movement. Then get in a split stance position. Then you're gonna do a slight squat until you're in a quarter stance. And then you wanna push your hips back. Once you push your hips back, you don't want your shin to go backwards. You want it to stay vertical and almost be above the toe. Then you wanna use your hands to rotate your hips in and outwards. You should be looking like your pelvis is actually rotating left and right while you have a flat surface on your back. This teaches your hips how to internal and externally rotate while pairing it with an explosive first step, which of course translates well to acceleration sprint speed. Plus it also just loosens up the hips and helps you feel good, which could also relieve some back pain or some type of mechanical issues you have from just walking alone. Exercise number 4, the 90-degree isometric lunge hold. Step 1, start with your front foot under your hip, rotate your back foot outwards once, then rotate the heel back once. Step 2, drop into a 90-degree lunge. This is a little deeper than most people think, but not so deep where the thigh is below the hip. Step 3, drill the front leg into the ground and activate your glute. Step 4, maintain a good upright posture. Your knee should be just above the toe, not too far forward or not too far behind. But if it causes knee pains, you can adjust that position by pushing that shin where it's vertical and you'll get more glute and less patella tendon. Step 5, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Most people will fail around 20 to 30 seconds. If that's you, just add extra sets until we reach the goal time of 1 minute and 30 seconds each side, or a total of 3 whole minutes. This isometric hold is the foundation for athletic movement. If you can't hold this position well, you should probably question if your squats and deadlift patterns are even helping your explosive movements. This improves your muscle firing patterns, movement quality, and even tendon health. Exercise 5, the isometric calf raise hold. Step 1, we're essentially going to be standing on one leg close to the wall for support, but we don't want to lean into it. Our goal is not to train stability here. We want to put all the forces onto the calf and the Achilles tendon, so we don't want to focus on wobbling all the time and trying to stabilize yourself. Step 2, raise your heels off the ground with both feet, then lift one leg off and hold that position. Step 3, keep a straight leg, upright torso, and don't let your heel swing excessively inward or outward. Step 4, hold for the recommended time, which is 1 minute 30 seconds each side. And if you struggle, follow the same progressions as the lunge isometric hold. This builds a stiff, reactive ankle complex. And as we know, isometrics overload something called the amortization phase of the stretch shortening cycle. And this is where all your elastic power comes from, which helps you store and release elastic energy, eventually converting over to elastic power. The stronger and better you get at these isometric holds, the more elastic energy you can store and eventually release as an explosive movement, and eventually release in your explosive movements like sprinting and jumping. Exercise 6, the extensive plyometric series. This series has 4 positions. Number 1 is going to be side to side. Number 2 is going to be split stance. Number 3 is going to be straight up. And number 4 is going to be rotational. And for each position, the intensity should be as if you're hopping over a jump rope for about 15 to 30 seconds, but the goal should be 15 seconds at first. Cycle through all 4 of these for 3 minutes, which could be 3 sets of 1 or 3 minutes straight, which means if you have 4 exercises, all 4 are going to be 15 seconds each, and you cycle them without stopping for 1 minute, and then you can rest and do your next set of cycling the 4 for 15 seconds each exercise. This builds the foundation for reactive strength, which is key for athleticism, and it also helps you feel more springy. This will also make you springy, improving your reactive strength index by improving the stiffness qualities needed in max velocity sprinting. If you like this 15-minute routine from the Speed Academy, you can hop on the Speed Academy, but also remember that this alone won't make you faster. To develop explosive speed, you need high quality sprint training. So watch this video right here on how to actually train for explosive speed so you can become an elite level athlete.